everybody, thank you so much for joining us here in LiveFit Kitchen today. We have a special guest today. This is Dr. Andrea Purcell. Dr. Purcell is a doctor of naturopathic medicine, which means that she heals through natural medicine, including using foods. So the recipe today is from Dr. Purcell, and she's going to talk to us about the nutritional qualities of the foods that we're eating while I put the recipe together. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Alicia, for having me. This is so great to be on LiveFit Revolution talking about food.
This is really exciting for me. Dr. Andrea and I have been friends for a long time. She is in fact my doctor too, and it's so cool to have her here in LiveFit Kitchen today. So what we're doing today is a recipe that is phase 1 friendly. If you've just started our program and you're in that first 6 weeks, this recipe works for you. The recipe that we'll be putting together will be 4 serving sizes. So you'll be able to have, several meals worth or share it with your friends. This recipe, we're doing asparagus today, but if you're on phase 2 or 3, it also works just fine with green beans. You just substitute the green beans for the asparagus. So, talk us through it. Take us through the ingredients first.
Okay, so this is a quick and easy vegetable recipe, and today we're going to use asparagus. So it's 1 pound of fresh asparagus. I prefer the thinner asparagus, so the ones with the thicker stems, maybe you just want to chop off some of the thicker stems. They're definitely not as tender or as tasty. A pinch of the sea salt, a tablespoon of olive oil. I didn't specify here the extra virgin olive oil, but I do think it's very important to use the extra virgin. I think Alicia agrees with me. It's just the highest quality of olive oil out there. And then 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but it is very important to use fresh lemons because that's where you get the highest nutritional content of the fresh squeezed lemon juice. 3 drops of flavored liquid stevia. I'm sure those of you who have followed LiveFit for a while have probably heard Alicia talk about stevia, and it's also one of my personal favorites as a sweetener. We're going to look at some of the flavors we have here later today, vanilla and lemon drop. And then 1 teaspoon of spicy brown mustard. So mustard always adds a little bit of kick and flavor to things, and it's really great with the asparagus.
Okay, so earlier this morning I steamed the asparagus. I just cut it into little pieces and steamed it at home and allowed it to cool. So steam it, I think I just steamed it for about 5 minutes on the stove in one of those little steaming baskets and then cooled it off. So that's our asparagus ready to go.
Bright green asparagus.
Yes, and still crunchy,
and
not overcooked.
Still a little crunchy is important.
So as I'm putting this together, tell us about asparagus and why we love it so much.
Okay, so asparagus is one of those vegetables. You probably most commonly know it for making your pee smell a little funny. But the truth is that some people have the enzyme to break it down and their pee doesn't smell at all, and others lack the enzyme, which causes their urine to smell a little bit. But asparagus is actually very, very nutritive. It's high in vitamin A, it's high in vitamin C, folic acid, and also vitamin K. And so it's one of those things that's nutrifying but also immune boosting. While we're talking about that, Alicia is also preparing the olive oil right now, which we're going to make a little dressing here and then drizzle it over the asparagus. So you can use the asparagus hot or cooled, and this marinade is very tasty. And again, for those of you in phase 2, you can use string beans, steamed and bright crunchy in this same recipe. So olive oil helps reduce our LDL or our bad cholesterol, and it prevents the oxidation in our blood vessels. So the extra virgin type is the preference, and it's very important for heart health, olive oil. You might have just seen her slice that lemon, and lemons are very high in vitamin C. And for those of you who are feeling like you're coming down with a little bit of a scratchy throat or a cold, lemons will help ward that off. So a little bit of fresh squeezed lemon, maybe a couple of drops of the liquid stevia, mix it up and spoon it down. Maybe just 2 or 3 teaspoons will help get rid of that infection if you think you're fighting something. So as she's whisking that, the mustard in there, the fresh lemon, and the olive oil.
And then we still have the liquid stevia. Now you brought 2 flavors to talk to us about for this recipe.
Oh, good. For those of you who like lemon, I think the liquid flavored stevia in the lemon drop is a very nice complement with the citric acid in the fresh lemon juice and the mustard. So again, it would be a lemony mustard combination. For those of you who like things a little bit sweeter, now again, stevia is very sweet, so we're only using 3 to 4 drops of this. You can use the vanilla cream flavor, and that's much more of a mustardy, lemony, vanilla type of essence in that.
Let's go with the lemon for today. So I've whisked the other ingredients together. You saw me add the olive oil and the mustard and the lemon. And then the pinch of sea salt, does that go in the mix here or is that going on top last?
The pinch of sea salt's going to just get sprinkled on top last.
Okay. So we just need 3 to 4 little drops.
Very nice. And so stevia is my sweetener of preference. Many of my patients ask me, Dr. Purcell, I'm so confused. There's natural sweeteners, there's artificial sweeteners. What about sugar? What about honey, agave? And I always say stevia is number 1. It comes from the stevia plant. Actually, I have some growing in my garden this year. So anytime I want to make a cup of tea, I just pluck a leaf and stick it in my teacup and infuse the tea in it. So yeah, the liquid kind is great to bake with. You don't want to be baking with the green stevia leaves. That'll get a little messy. But yeah, very, very sweet and comes from a plant, comes from nature.
I never even thought about growing it myself. That seems so obvious now that you've said it, but it just never crossed my mind. How big a plant is it?
It's a very short plant. I mean, the leaves are only maybe about an inch long, but they pack quite a punch.
Well, maybe we should try and grow some. That sounds like fun. Okay, so I've obviously whisked this just about to death. So now we just pour it over the asparagus?
Now we do a drizzle. Now what Alicia has done is she's chopped this asparagus. If you wanted to go for more of a French delicacy type look, you would buy the thinner asparagus, like I mentioned. You would steam them till they're bright green. You would lay them out on a nice plate, and then you would drizzle this marinade on top, and then just sprinkle the pinch of sea salt, and we're ready to go. So hot, cold, it's your preference, but a delicious vegetable side dish.
There's our little bit of sea salt.
Ta-da!
It looks really good. Now, I've never tried this, so this is the first ever taste. Let's see. Oh, boy.
It's a winner.
That is a winner. You guys are going to like this one a lot. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yum. See you next time.